Hello and welcome to 4,000 and Counting, brought to you by Hurricane E-Bikes. I am Watty, and today I'm joined by GM of Oxford, Shane Moore, and we are going to be discussing the NIHL Department of Player Safety. Obviously, Morsey has his own thing going with them right now, but not just that incident. There's other incidents that have happened throughout the year. We've seen suspensions up and down the country. There's been 4 announcements from the NIHL DOPS throughout the EIHA website. They do a comprehensive roundup and they let you know exactly who's been banned. We're going to kind of dissect some of the bigger ones, some of the ones that have attracted some media attention, give our opinions on not only the incidents, but also maybe how we would see it in terms of giving a ban and our justifications for that. Morsey, this is something that kind of came about after the incident with Darcy Flanagan. He got a 10-game ban for a check to the head on Joe Llewellyn in the game over in Oxman's Road the other week. And for the life of me, when I first seen the video, I can't even remember what I said to you. He was like, "What do you see in this video? Let's have a look. Let's have a look."
Yeah,
God, sorry.
pull it up. And while you're pulling it up, though, I didn't even lead you down the aisle, mate. I asked you what your thoughts were on it, right? And you were just like, yeah, both guys dropped the gloves, fight, job done. I think you even said, maybe an additional 2 for Llewellyn
Maybe an
for shooting the puck
unsportsmanlike
after
like
whistle.
for Llewellyn. Here we go. Let's see if you can hear what I'm saying. Maybe an unsportsmanlike for Llewellyn for shooting a puck after the whistle, but you probably give him the benefit of the doubt. Your guy's obviously going to go in and drop his gloves because that's happened. So no, I wouldn't call it an instigator. They both come together. Yeah, they go at it. No one gets like fucking ironed out or anything. It looks pretty clean to me. Well, that was there you have a genuine reaction to what I said, because I would have never remembered I said that. But
Yeah.
um yeah, I think maybe you give the Welling the extra 2 for shooting the park at the goalie. But again, you can equally give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, exactly. And I said the same for what it's worth, right? For me, it was just like 2 guys drop the gloves, let them go, stick them in the box, carry on, like job done.
Yeah.
Problem we have, Blaine Evans on the night calls it as a check to the head, and now we're in a situation where we've got a 10-game ban for a player, which is basically a third of the season.
Yeah, it's a massive ban.
It's huge, absolutely huge, and it just doesn't line up against some of the other bans that we're seeing across. I think the Department of Player Safety is out of their depth, to be honest with you. I don't think they've got the experience to be making these calls, and I think the EIHA has too much ego to turn around and admit they're wrong.
Well, we know that's the case. I don't know. New people involved. Maybe we might see more transparency. We might actually see these concerns, I guess. I'd say concerns, probably the right word. And these statements, and actually do something with them, as opposed to be butthurt about the fact that people are going to talk about it. Because we live in this day and age, there are podcasts. We're not the only ones, but we have a voice, and people don't just sit by anymore and sweep shit under the carpet that used to happen when we played. If this was a thing when I don't know if this was a thing when we played, I think everyone would be in trouble. But I think everyone would be in trouble. But it would also, a lot of the shit that used to go on, teams not paying guys on time, fucking just all the stuff that doesn't happen now because it's so much more professional across the board. But if we had something like this and we were using it, it would have benefited us for sure.
Yeah, if it's ran right, it's only good for the sport. I think the problem that I see, and probably a lot of other people see, is the inconsistencies here, and the lack of knowledge to back up these decisions that are being made. It's it's just, I don't know. It just feels like a money grab to me. Like, if you want to repeal it, yeah, do you know what? Pay us £500, and if you want to introduce more evidence, another 50 quid per piece of evidence. It just feels like a money grab to me. I'm not sure that the actual point of it is player safety.
I mean, it's pretty funny because I believe that's the exact words I said to you
Yeah,
when you told me the outcome of the appeal.
yeah.
We'll get into the appeal and all the process of that in a little while. Let's actually hear your opinion on the hit itself. To me, he just looks like he's stepping up. But Joe Llewellyn's a fucking big guy. If he's coming at me face on, I'm coming up as well. I think it maybe goes to the chest, maybe he gets him in the chin. But it's not a traditional hit to the head in any way, shape, or form.
I mean, yeah, for
A couple of minutes for charging.
Yeah, like
if you want to call it, if you want to call something.
For anyone who's seen the video, anyone with any common sense here, they would see
experience as well.
Yeah, anyone with experience of how a hockey game runs as well. You've got Joe Llewellyn steps over the blue line, takes a shot after the whistle at head height at a goalie. D-man then first of all puts his hand up to call offside. Joe Llewellyn makes a beeline for Darcy Flanagan at that point. Darcy Flanagan brings his stick up. Fine, he's got two hands on his stick. Appreciate that. If you want to call cross-check, call it 2-minute cross-check. No problem with that. Cross-checks him roughly around here, right?
That's what I would say from my angle.
Joe Llewellyn's a big dude. If you slow the video down as well, you will see Joe Llewellyn then bring his arm up. It's his left arm, brings his left arm up. The stick rides up slightly. It's not a cross-check to the head. A cross-check to the head has to be the principal point of contact, has to be the head. You can't just kick somebody's stick up at your head and call it a cross-check.
No.
It doesn't work like that, So the principal point of contact is to the chest. It's a guy that's challenging for a fight, right? He's come in, let's go. Like, he's not cross-checked Joe Llewellyn to the head. Joe Llewellyn himself even admitted he didn't cross-check me to the head. Like, so
Joe's a big boy. He knows what he's doing as well. Like, he knows that he shot the puck after the whistle. And hey, maybe not on every team or every line, maybe on the third line with the fucking kids on it. There's no fight there.
Yeah, exactly.
But you got experienced guys out there that have played the game a little bit. Like, if I'm out there and he does that, we're having a fight.
Of course we are. Yeah, right. And the other thing, right, is if Joe Llewellyn generally took a cross-check to the head when he's skating in at that speed,
he'd be in trouble.
And our guy's skating and he cross-checks him to the head, he's not just going to stand there and then drop his gloves and fight the guy. Like, if you take a cross-check to the head at that impact, you're down. You're done. Like,
you would have seen more snap back on the head. Sure. I mean, for sure, a conky.
Yeah, exactly. But no injury on the play, nothing, because the cross check has come here to the chest. Two guys drop the gloves, done. They shook hands in the penalty box after.
Good tilt, good job, boys. Whatever. Yeah.
Would you shake someone's hands who's just cross checked you to the face? I wouldn't. Like, tell them I'm getting fucking when they're back on the ice.
Dave Cloutman tweeted at me and asked for my opinion, and I said I would not have held a grudge if he did that to me. Like, we would have fought there and then. Yeah, for sure. We would have. Like, if he comes at me there and I've just shot the puck. I've shot the puck and puck at your goalie on purpose after the whistle. If I've shot the puck after the whistle, like 100%. Like, if I'm stepping over and the ref blows a whistle out, I rifle it up at his fucking shoulder. I've done that on purpose. And guess what? If I do what Joe did and make a beeline for you, and you do what you do, and you come up here, but then we fight, there's no beef. If you cross-check me in the face coming across the fucking blue line, I'm going to fight you every game. I'm going to slash you behind every time I get the chance. I'm going to make the rest of your season very miserable. The fact that those boys then shook each other's hands in the box.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shaking the guy's hand if he just cross-checked me in the fucking face.
Yeah, exactly that. Like, yeah, and I think that's where the frustration is, mate. Like, if it turns around and it goes, do you know what? It's a tier 1 offense, 2-game ban or something. We wouldn't have even appealed it. We'd have just been like, it's the state of play of British ice hockey right now that they're throwing out these silly bans. But 10 games? Like, are you kidding me?
I no injury on the play, no concussion, no beef with the lads. I mean, I don't think there was any appeal from the other side, was there?
Nope.
So when did you find out about the ban, and how did you find out? Who reached out to you? Who let you know? And what was your initial reaction to finding out you got 10 games? Because I didn't even think it was a penalty, or much more than a 2-minute. To find out that it's 10 games, I'm like, wow, yeah. I don't understand.
I mean, yeah, we were shocked, right? So we received an email says, yeah, Darcy Flanagan banned for 10 games from this guy Mike Maidens, I think it was, who's the head of DOPS. I've got no idea where this 10 game thing from. They called out. Let me see if I've got the email. They basically called it out as a tier 2 ban or something ridiculous. I couldn't even get my head around it. It's just nuts.
A tier 2 ban.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't find it, but it's yeah. Tier 2.
Sorry, say that again.
Tier 2 is what they've called it. I was just seeing if I could find the email. But yeah, we off the back of it, right? So we get that on the, I want to say it was the Tuesday or the Wednesday. We find out that yeah, he's got a 10 game ban. Yeah, we appeal it. The appeal goes through to some guy, George Ellison, barrister of some sort. Neither of these guys that have come through, from what I've done of some digging, neither of them have any experience in actually playing this game to a decent level. They won't understand ice hockey. All they're doing is reading a rule that's been written down and interpreting it their way. We and for what it's worth, right? Like we picked it apart on our appeal. We literally picked it apart. We talk about how Solent player crosses the blue line, whistle blown for offside. Approximately a second later, he then shoots the player at the goalie, turns right across the ice directly at our player, comes through. Like we pick it apart, and to a very good degree. And the response we got back, just shows to me that they don't actually go and review this, right? Like if you go to an appeal panel, you'd expect more than one person, in my opinion, to be reviewing that appeal. You wouldn't just have
it should be a chair of people. There should be five maybe around that table.
Yeah, and you would hope, right? If it was me, I would expect probably an ex-player, an ex-coach,
referee for sure,
like all involved in these conversations, because there's lots of different things that feed into why that event has happened and why
1,000%.
Yeah, why that's happened that way. But I mean, the response that we got just kind of says it all, right? So let me just see if I can open it up. And I mean,
the thing is, if it costs £500 for the appeal, right, and let's say there is a panel of 5 people, now we talk about players not wanting to stay in the game or something. If they got paid £100 a case to properly go on and review it,
mm-hmm.
that's a job. And if there's 10 cases a fucking week, and the money's going to them, people, hey, I bet no one's kicking off about the appeal, because they know they're going to get a fair appeal heard by people that have been in and amongst it, and it's money going back to the guys that have put stuff into the game. Fucking how many late nights has Dave Cloutman had? Matt Thompson. Yeah, how many games have those boys witnessed or been a part of?
Yeah, and for those
guys that have played, maybe let's say a guy that's also maybe played. I don't know, use someone like Paddy Ward, for example. I know he's fucking the other side of the world right now, but he played EPL, he played BNL, he played Elite League, he played Super League. He has seen every kind of referee, he's seen every kind of tough guy, he's seen every kind of enforcer at every kind of step of the way. He has experience in several different situations. Now, that's just randomly picking names out of guys that I've spoke to recently that are good examples. I mean, there could be many, many more.
Of course. Yeah.
But they're like, just thinking about guys like that. Now, if you need to have solicitors and stuff involved, great. James Galazzi's brother, Mark, ex-pro, he's a solicitor. He's a fucking clever boy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's plenty of solicitors and stuff that have played the game, and there's probably many more that still do right now that I don't even know about.
You know what's super interesting about this as well, though, right? Like within the rules of the NHL, you cannot have legal representation on these appeals unless they say otherwise. So they're saying, hey, we've got a barrister, but you can't have one. You're not allowed legal representation.
Is that even legal?
You tell me. I don't know.
I am fucking mate. It was above my pay grade.
It's not my
But
place.
I can tell you one thing right now. I can find out very quickly because I'm good friends with. We love Hurricane e-bikes, and so do you. Trustpilot have Hurricane e-bikes at a 4.6 out of 5-star rating. Let me just read some taglines for you. I love this bike. Fantastic business with a fantastic product. Fantastic service all around. What a fantastic company to deal with. Fabulous customer services. Fat bike off-road. Fun just got an upgrade. Very satisfied with my bike. It's the best company to rent an e-bike. All sorts of good feedback. I like the service. It's very satisfying in all forms. It's got any solution for any problem by contacting just by phone. So it seems like the people are happy. Amazing bike. Best product. Karen, she loves it. Been using the electric bike for 6 months. The e-bike is amazing. No maintenance cost, very effective. That is right. No maintenance cost. You can go further, go faster, get fitter. All you got to do is head over, hit subscribe on hurricane.ebikes, select your bike, add your accessories, confirm your details, and it is on its way to you. Now, as always, I like to chuck in my favorites. It's the M250 mountain bike. I like the F200 20-inch fat bike. That's pretty cool. But as you please, there's so many different colors, sizes, shapes, something for everybody. So head over to Hurricane e-bikes, go further, go faster, and get fitter. A couple of really good solicitors. So.
And you know what? The other thing with this, right, is this is a very dangerous game that they're playing with, right? You class Darcy Flanagan's like chest push cross check as a 10-game ban, tier 2 offense. What happens when someone actually does skate across the blue line and takes somebody's head off and cross checks them? Where does that leave you now?
Okay, I don't know. You just take them out the bridge and shoot them, don't you?
Exactly.
That's it. Right? It's the fucking next step, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just firing squad. Death by firing squad. That should do it.
Exactly. It's crazy, mate. It's absolutely crazy.
But we saw it last year before they changed it. Obviously, Reese was a fucking sausage. But Kenny Witter Reese was a donkey. He knows he was. But again, he plays the game the way he plays the game. You know what you're going to get. But like they just came out and was just like, I can't even remember. It was 18 months. They were just like, yeah, that sounds about right. And then obviously, literally just pissing into the wind. And then they come back and they rescinded it and they brought it down and there was just a big hoo-ha.
Yeah.
This isn't that.
No.
But the extremity of 10 games for the hit is just as wild as the 18 months for what he should have probably got, fucking 20 games for.
There's no, like, to me, there's no backup from them to say why, right? So, I mean, look, I will literally share. And look, if you don't see me as the GM of Oxford moving forward, it's because they probably sanctioned me off the back of this, right? But I don't care. This is bigger than Darcy Flanagan. This is bigger than Oxford. This is about the sport that me and you grew up and that we love and that we're trying to give something back to. And I just feel having donkeys in charge of this, making decisions with no evidence or anything behind it is just wrong. They've come back and they've said, so this barrister here has said, been asked to comment on the incident that took place during the game on Sunday, the 1st of October, 2023, involving a player from Oxford named Darcy Flanagan. Again, I don't see anything about him saying whether he has any credentials to actually comment on this, right? Because
like my solicitor, mate, she does do you know, like when people get fucking paralyzed from car accidents and shit, she does that. She's a solicitor. She could write you a nice letter in that, but she couldn't sit on the fucking board of an ice hockey like NIHL decision making panel because that's not her expertise. So unless this guy's expertise is in, some sort of sport, he's
He's
discipline,
a counsellor somewhere. Like he's a counsellor and some sort of legal barrister, right? But I've not seen any credentials. He's not played ice hockey to a decent level. Doesn't understand ice hockey to a decent level, as far as I understand. I might be wrong. I'd love to see them come out and prove me wrong for what it's worth, but I can't see it happening. He comes back and he says, I've considered the following documentation in reaching my decision. 3 match official reports, right? So he's basically saying, I'm
the ref and the 2 linesmen.
The ref and the 2 linesmen. Video and commentary of the incident and a letter of appeal from Oxford.
He said commentary?
Video and commentary on the incident.
Yeah, well, like I commentated the fucking first period of the Solway Sharks game the other day.
Yeah,
I shouldn't be fucking having the outcome of incidents that happen on the ice because I'm in the commentary booth. Chances
exactly.
are I was looking at stats on my phone or,
Yeah,
getting ready to respond to the guy that's doing the. You can miss, like,
okay.
what? That's
Yeah.
not a fucking thing.
Of course, it's not. So he says, in making my decision, I've considered all of the evidence available and watched the video several times. So he's just saying he has watched it, not anybody else. He has watched this. The referees were all in a clear position to see all of the incident, and they reported the same facts and their decisions in regards to the point of contact and extent of violence was the same, also leaving no doubt in what they saw, and subsequent disciplinary action was correct also. The guy's missed out a full stop for what it's worth.
I mean,
Not not.
I'm not going to start throwing shade at anyone's punctuation right now.
So he says on watching the video, it's my considered opinion that Darcy Flanagan is the main offender. I again would question that. Joe Llewellyn has come at him after shooting
Mate,
the puck.
I literally, it's a 50, he said, she said, it's a 50-50, like, whatever you want to
Exactly.
call it. It's a couple of big boys coming together.
It's a
Like,
hockey
because
fight.
what's Darcy? Six, six,
6'3",
six,
six
three? Yeah, and Llewellyn's what, 6'6", 6'7"? He's a fucking lump.
big dude. Yeah, yeah.
That's
Big.
two big boys. Like, they're going to come together. Guess what? I'm not a physics guy. I'm not a science guy, but when you put two forces together,
Yeah, bang. There you go. Right.
yeah,
So this guy then says the video shows point of contact as the neck and head area of the opponent, which again I disagree with. You can't see that in the video. It shows the chest to me. The video also shows Flanagan raising off his feet towards the Solent player, clearly indicating his intention to do harm / injure the player. This was confirmed in his comments after the game to referee when he stated his intention was to hurt the Solent player. Darcy Flanagan disputes this for what it's worth. So this is he said, she said thing, and he's taken the sides of the ref here. But Darcy Flanagan said that he spoke to Blaine after and asked him to explain why he was chucked out of the game because it was just two guys having a fight. He's new to the country, didn't understand why this had kind of escalated to this point. And Blaine asks him, were you trying to hurt the guy? No, the guy's playing hockey, right? He's just said the guy's whistled a puck right past me at my goaltender. Like, of course I was trying to go after him.
yeah,
That doesn't mean he's trying to end the guy's career.
no,
It's hockey.
yeah,
So this is where it's all come from. And he then goes on to say he feels the Oxford, i.e. our appeal, interpretation of Rule 48.11 is wrong. Quite clearly, the video and the referee's report indicate, so again, he's going with the referee's report here, indicate Flanagan's upper body does connect with the neck and shoulder of the Solent player. I do not accept Oxford's interpretation of what was said by Flanagan to the referee. This quite clearly was his intention to cause harm. So he's playing a dangerous game here because he's basically, deciding what he thinks Flanagan's intentions were. You can't decide that. Like,
yeah.
that's not your place to decide that. It is my considered opinion that the level of violence offered by Flanagan was unacceptable and was one continued act starting with a strike to the neck and shoulders, finishing when he was separated by the referees. Further, I feel the disciplinary action for this offence was right and that he has no grounds for appeal. There's nothing there that's telling me why you think this is a 10-game ban. Like, it's just wrong. It's
Right. So I have the video paused right now, and I'm going to give you a screen share, folks. I won't stay on the screen for long because Twitter does kill it when it's on a screen share. So a moment of contact, like here, if you can see in the middle of the screen where my cursor is.
Press the two little arrows to expand that out to a full screen. See if it should, to the right. Yeah.
Oh shit, wrong one.
Yeah, that one there.
Let's try that again. What a rookie. Right. So I'm going to roll that back just a second. So if you look, here's Blaine, currently at centre ice. One linesman is by the home team bench. The other linesman is by the penalty team, the away team penalty box. Oh, sorry, let me mute this because only I can hear it. And
bear in mind as well, the report from that barrister then said that the refs were all in a good position to
yeah,
see it.
so that's exactly what I wanted to pause. So
Yeah.
this is the incident here. Can Blaine see through Joe Llewellyn's back, which is like a fucking American fridge freezer? It's like an American fridge freezer. The kid's like a werewolf.
Like something out of Blindside.
Yeah, the kid's a unit. He could be playing in the NFL if he was born in America. Um, he's a beast of a boy. Right, so he's there. This kid, he's probably got a pretty good, right? If you can see next to myself and Shane's head here. I mean, I'm sorry, this video is like a potato, but if you can actually see where he stood, he's probably got a pretty good line through that to see what he can see. The other guy, he's not even in a fucking shot.
No.
Like he might better see, but I mean, how good of a split second reaction timing has he got from back there? Now, as the video goes on, here you go. The boys are good. Look, that's it. They're ready to go.
By this point, the incident that they're calling 10 games has passed.
Yeah, like it's already done. And then the boys they chuck some knucks.
Yeah.
I mean, fall over a stick, get back up, chuck a couple more knucks. You know, the boys they go at it. The Welling, like if I'm the Welling there, yeah, and you've just cross-checked me in the face, that lino is not getting me off you.
No,
he's not getting me off. You're getting at least 6 or 7 in the face when you're on the ice if you just cross-check me in the teeth.
Absolutely.
Like the fact that the Welling kind of, as soon as the lino comes in, I believe it's here. Right, let him go. Okay, see ya. Like he's not super rattled.
No.
Let's go back to full screen. So that's interesting. So in my opinion, and a referee might disagree with me here, and please do if you feel that I'm wrong, because this is how it should work. You should have a player's opinion sitting around a table, and then there should be a referee's opinion. Absolutely. And they might say, actually, Watty, they were stood in a perfect place.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, I'll hold my hands up. But if you're telling me Blaine, who's like fucking 5'3", from behind Joe Llewellyn, can see the point of contact perfectly,
yeah,
I'd say you're lying.
Yeah, I agree. And this goes back to what I was saying a minute ago, right? Like, if there was a legit panel here that wasn't made up of 3 fans who've never played the game to a decent level, if it was made up of an ex-ref who's played, like, who's refed at a decent level, Elite League or EPL, NHL, National, right?
Yep.
You get an ex-ref, you get an ex-coach from the same levels, an ex-player. If you had that panel,
okay, yeah, here Greg Wood doesn't have a fucking job this year.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
Greg Wood doesn't have a job this year. He's played in the Elite League. He's played for Sheffield. He's played for Basingstoke. He's played for Steel Dogs. He's played for Manchester. He's played for fucking Tony Hand. He's played for. Do you know what I mean? You can start breaking it down. He's done all these things. He's played at that level. Yep. He's experienced it. He's been and around it. He played with the Dogs when it was a Pisey era. If you know, it probably knows a thing or two about suspensions. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, he's seen incidents that have happened. I'm sorry, if your only experience is non-checking rec hockey, that's not an experience. That's having fun. That's like, I wouldn't go and sit on a football board and try and make decisions because I meet the boys on a fucking Wednesday to kick a ball around in Power League.
No.
7-a-sides. I wouldn't be like, oh, I'm pretty good at this. Pretty good at 7-a-sides. I reckon I should sit on the board that makes decisions whether the guy should get sent off or not, or like, whether they should.
No right to make that decision because you don't know what happens in those scrums and all the rest of it.
I have no idea. It's not my sport. I don't know.
Exactly. And I think, this is part of the frustration, right? Like with the DOPS or whatever they're called.
Oh, sorry. Another name just popped into my head. Natalie Aldridge.
Perfect. Yeah.
She's done right now.
Yeah.
Like just the fucking names I've said today.
Yeah. Two people that are way more than qualified in comparison to Mike Maidens and George Ellison, whoever they are. Never played the game, to a decent level to be able to make these decisions.
Do you think if I was to sit down with every GM and every coach, let's say from NIHL 1, SNL, NIHL, National, and Elite League, we would get the same response from less or more than 80% of those? Do you think they would all say they would want
I think they would
a proper panel?
I think they would all say they'd want it. I don't think they would be as candid as me, right? Like I'll
Oh
tell
yeah,
it,
of course.
I'll tell it how it is. Me and you have known each other since we were kids. And as I say, from my side of things, this is bigger than Oxford and Darcy Flanagan. This is the state of ice hockey in the UK. I'll tell it how it is, and if they want to sanction me or whatever, then good luck to them. If they want good people who are giving stuff back to the sport to walk away, yeah, sanction me, whatever. But I think the thing is, 80-95% of these people actually that are involved in the sport want fair outcomes. And if the fair outcome here is that Darcy Flanagan gets 2 games sussy for cross-check, then fine. Cool. Yeah. I get that. That's fine. But a 10 game,
but they've shown they will. They've shown this year already. I say they. It does seem very much like there's only a couple of them. Although I do believe I saw a post a couple of months back, towards the start of the season, maybe end of August, start of September, and it had a bunch of names on it that were going to be on this thing, but I can't find it for the life of me. So
I think so
maybe I made that up.
My understanding of it is you've got this Mike Maidens, who's a Guildford fan,
right,
who is running the Department of Player Safety. He's never played above rec hockey, and I think there's 2 other fans involved in this with him. Again, don't know those names. They're very they keep them hidden, and it's only this year that they've actually given these guys proper EIHA email addresses. Up until last year, it was just like DOPS at NIHL management. So they're just faceless. This year, the guy's got a thing. It's Mike Maidens, Guildford fan of 15 years or whatever. Never played the game to a decent level. There's another couple involved with him, I believe. And then if you appeal, you go to this George Ellison guy who's some sort of barrister, counsellor guy. But again, never played hockey to a decent level. I've never heard of the guy. Who are they to be making judgments on a sport that they've got no knowledge about? It makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I'm just having a look right now. Yeah, I don't really know who he is. I can see from his post on Facebook that I'm going to read his statement on the 8th of August. A new era of ice hockey discipline begins. Hockey community, get ready for a game changer in the EIHA leagues. We're introducing the all-new Department of Player Safety, bringing fairness, transparency, and innovation to our beloved sport. From a cutting-edge decision review system to public video releases, we're skating towards a bright future. Read the full statement to discover how we are shaping a new chapter in ice hockey. Now, that was on his page, and then obviously on the EIHA page from then. It just goes on to say that he'll lead it, and it says this is what we talked about when the announcement first came out. But each senior team will start the season with an allowance of 3 reviews. Junior teams will get 2. A successful review allows a team to retain their review count. An unsuccessful review results in a deduction from the team's review tally. The review counts will not be replenished until the new season begins. The DRS system will be in effect for all of the EIHA sanctioned games throughout the season. All review requests with requisite supporting evidence must be submitted by 10 a.m. every Tuesday. Late submissions will be declined automatically. Now, I'm gonna pick the first bit of that apart. Can't say you're going to use video and then only do it on fucking 5 out of 35 releases. Doesn't work like that. If you're going to use video, you're going to use, like the Elite League, video on every single one. Not the ones you just feel like, yeah, let's just chuck it out on that one. It doesn't work like that. It has to be everyone.
Exactly. It's so inconsistent. Like, anyone can go on and have a look at this and at NIHL DOPS, right, on X, or previously known as Twitter. And you will see it's like 1 in 9, I think it is, something like that.
Yeah, I've got it here, mate. So we had the Oxford one that we spoke about. Now here we go. In fact, I'm going to go back to the share screen here. My boy, Mr. Chaz, Charlie Thompson, friend of the show. Sorry, Chaz. Hopefully this don't get you any more trouble than you're already in. But nah, and again, we can talk our viewpoint through this one. This video is a bit less potato-fied, but it should give us a good idea. So here we go. Let me just mute that so I don't have to listen to his explanation. Now, Chaz is where my cursor is here. He's coming in to to basically play the centerman role. He's supporting the D man. He's going to make a hit. I'm going to get this out of the way because this is where the video happens. Now, as they go in here, stick up in Chaz's face. Chaz drops his gloves. The boy turtles. Chaz gives him a few when he goes down. And, you know, Chaz gets a 2-game ban out of it. You'll watch it here. It's a bit of a better view. There you go. Stick comes up on the chin. And Chaz, quite rightly, drops his gloves to look after himself. The lad should have... I don't actually know who it is, so sorry, I keep saying the lad. I can't see. It's not a great quality video. But that sticks right up there. And I would argue...
That's Jay Warren, I think.
I think it is Jay Warren, you're right. I would argue that stick to the face is a lot worse than what Darcy Flanagan did. Yeah. And that I don't even know if that warranted a penalty on the night.
No. And that's the thing, right? And, you know, if the penalty's not called there, it's not going through to DOPS anyways. So if the ref misses it on the night, what's going on? Like,
yeah. Now, if we're going to have incidents that happen and you are going to clamp down on whatever Darcy was supposed to have done, then that needs to be the same in every game. And if that is going to be the way it is, hockey is fucking finished. I cannot stress that enough. Yeah, finished. Yeah. Like, finished. If guys are getting 10 games like that, you know, go into January, you're going to have 7 players left.
It's mental, mate. It's absolutely mental. And actually, on the subject of Bristol, actually, there was another one, Luke Smittle.
Yeah, we've got that one here as well. This is arguably... I'll go back to this screen share, sorry.
Either of these, right? So while you're pulling that up, again, this is another one of my gripes. There's no consistency here. You got Darcy Flanagan getting 10 games for that, but then you've got no call on Jay Warren for that one.
Right, I'm going to move us over to this side. I'm going to go full screen because it does happen on the left-hand side of your screen as you're going to look at it. So he's on the forecheck. He tries to beat the guy, and then you just miss it as he goes off shot, but he chops Liam Morris in the face. Now, I was jokingly said to you earlier, my boy Mo probably had it coming at some point, but I mean, you still can't be chopping guys in the face. So here you're going to see it as it slows down. Just in the middle of your screen, I'm going to get that out of the way. He turns around and bang, stick to the face.
Yeah, now
completely intentional fucking thing.
That's completely intentional to the head neck area, right?
Boom, there it is. That's probably the best kind of view of it, but it happens very quickly. So not this one. Watch this next video here. This is probably the best view where you get to see. Boom, right there, chops him in the mush.
Yeah, and yet that only gets a 3-game ban. Darcy Flanagan gets a 10-game ban, right?
And we got to consider, is it the same panel? I guess it is, sitting on all of these things.
Well, yeah. If it isn't, there's serious problems then.
Yeah,
you know.
And if it is, there's serious problems then.
Yeah, and but also on this one, right? So I'm going to call it, and I'm going to call it out. Mike Maiden's Guildford fan. Luke Smittle, loyal servant at Guildford for many, many years. Throw it out there.
Yeah, there is a connection there.
Is there bias there? I don't know. I might be completely way off the mark, but I just cannot work out how you can be so inconsistent. And that gets a 3-game ban, and Darcy Flanagan gets a 10-game ban.
Mate, I would love to talk to him. I'd love to pick his mind and actually hear a conversation like we're having right now and actually get into the nitty-gritty. And when he's pushed and challenged on these things, I want to know where he's putting the experience from.
Yeah, I'd love to too.
I mean, we haven't had it yet, but let's say a couple of neon knee hits happen throughout the year. Guy gets 5 games, guy gets whatever games. They haven't seen that before. I've seen fucking hundreds.
Yeah.
I can tell you whether a guy meant to do it, it was bad timing, or the guy toe drags you at the last minute. You're just trying to get you can tell the ones that are intentional. You can tell the ones that are not. Like you go look at the Corey Beaulieu one, Air Scottish Eagles behind the net when he broke Dennis Purdy's leg. That's an intentional knee on knee.
Yeah,
that's a sussy long time. And then you got ones where there's some fast kids now. When you step in to make a hit, and they dangle you at the last second and you collide. That's going to happen sometimes. And
Mate, if I had Ollie Endicott coming down at me and he jumps inside of me, he's going to turn me so fast. Yeah, I'm going to turn and try and get him, but I guarantee my knee will catch him.
yeah,
And it's not intentional. That's just because the kid's way too fast for me.
yeah, yeah, like literally. But if you've been in amongst that, and even a good ref will be able to differentiate between if that guy has intentionally done it. Don't get me wrong, it's still a penalty either way.
Yeah.
But you might be talking about 2 minutes for clipping versus a 5+ game and a 10 games for sussy for a kneeing penalty. Like there could be, different interpretations of it. But I just use that as an example because, again, unless you've been in and around that, what are you basing that on?
Yeah.
What are you
And
basing any of these decisions on?
also, that's an interesting point as well, mate, because the guy saying he's taken into account, or this Mike Maidens and George Ellison guy, they're saying they're taking into account Darcy Flanagan's comments, right? So if you don't speak to the guy, what are you calling then? Because this is an emotional game. You spoke to him. In my eyes, that's entrapment, by the way. If you're asking a player, what was your intent? That's entrapment to me. If you're asking a player at a game when it's heated and you've just chucked him out and you're saying what was your intention, the guy's heated, right? You can't take that word from him right there. He's a hockey player. Like, you just whizzed one past me and nearly took my goalie's head off after the whistle. Yeah, I wanted to give him a fucking message. Like, it doesn't mean I want to kill the guy, but at that particular point in time, I'm sending him a message.
It's a long season. You're not going to take pot shots at my goalie after the whistle.
You're taking that into account into this decision, right? How can you take that into account into a decision?
Mate, I'm genuinely baffled. I'm baffled by a lot of the thing, and more so now that I've read his statement about like how it's going to be, and like because if you read that, you can kind of get excited. Yeah, it's going to be new, and it's going to be like a bit more transparent, and we're going to do this. And
if it was done right and it was the right people, I'm all for this. For what it's worth, the whole head injury stuff, like
me too.
Out. Like I'm fully behind that. Hits from behind, stamp it out like they did years ago. Like I think Canada, they did the big stops on the back of the stop signs on the back of the shirts and stuff like that. Stamp this shit out and actually targeting somebody's head. Stamp that out. But two guys who just drop the gloves, like it's hockey, man. Like it's gonna happen. That's the stuff that
I'm just having a look through any of his other stuff. So from what I can tell, he is literally just a wreck guy. Now, if it was something that people are going to watch this, and the view I take on it is, there's been so many people saying this for years about review panels and stuff like that. It is nothing new for us to be suggesting who sits on these panels. Now, do you think this will get a bit of steam this time? Much the same as like when we spoke about Solway going international in the summer, it just seemed to steamroll, and then everybody started talking about it, and then before lo and behold, before you know it, it's happening. Now we've got a vehicle to make things better by talking about them.
I would absolutely love to see it. My personal opinion is I don't think the EHO would do it. I think they're it's shown here, right? Like they won't back down. Like back in the good old days, you got Joe Topman, Dave Cloutman, all those guys, right? Like if people make a mistake, they're human. I completely get that, right?
Yeah,
like,
me too.
If Blaine Evans on the night calls it as a check to the head, and then it comes through to video footage, and you go, do you know what? Didn't have the best view of it. I've called it wrong on the night. Downgrade it to one game and let him back in next week. You go, cool. You know what? He's human. Shit happens, right?
Yeah, you don't even question Blaine. Then, in fact, actually, you'd probably end up with a bit more respect for Blaine.
Absolutely. Years ago, we had this with Clouts. I'll never forget. Clouts made a bad decision when I was playing, and he came to the dressing room after and he apologized to the team.
Mate, I've seen it done by good refs.
Good refs, they are human, and I've got so much more respect for people that will do that and turn around and admit their failings and when things are wrong. But when you then get the Department of Player Safety who turn around and go, nah, that's a 10-game ban now, and then they won't set down. I mean, it's the same Department of Player Safety that called that the Sheffield Steel Dogs player, I think it was, for
Volkanovs.
Yeah, called him for slew fitting when the guy just bumped shoulders.
I mean, that is the one that they rescinded. They initially gave him a 2-game ban, and he then goes on to play that weekend. And that was a game that I was up for road tripping, episode 2, and he actually was man of the match that night. So, but no, that could, if they didn't rescind that, you're taking a game winner
but let me
out
ask
of a team.
Yeah, but let me ask you this then, mate. So they're telling people that they're reviewing footage. Anyone who looks at that footage of that incident of the slew foot, anyone who watches it in slow-mo or even normal
speed, just game speed, mate,
doesn't see slew footing. I don't see slew footing.
I see a young lad who needs to get a fucking gym.
Yeah,
like he got. Don't get me wrong. Actually, if you see Volks when he's got his gear off, he's a big, strong-looking boy. By the way, so if you bump into him when he's skating with some speed, you might fall over.
Yeah. But it's quite clear that is not a slew foot. That's just two guys come together. If you watch the footage, it's super clear, and it's the same with Darcy Flanagan. You watch the footage; it's very clear. It's not a check to the head. I just can't get my head around it. They can't watch the videos, and yet they then throw out these random bans. And then if you want to challenge it, oh yeah, give us 500 notes, and we'll pass it up to a barrister who will make a decision on this. What?
So
that's not the process.
There has been quite a few suspensions, but I'm going to move away from this topic and come back to it in a second, because there has been one really bad thing that I've seen this year. Patrick Grigors for the Billingham Stars hit from behind, and it was a bad hit. He got 12 games, recklessly endangering the opponent's jersey numbers clearly visible, throwing violently into the boards, causing an injury. Now, with the severity of the injury, I know James Parsons was in a bit of a shit state, so speedy recovery to him. I know he's in a bit of a shit state after the hit. 12 games, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Like, I have no problem with that. There's an injury there. It's bad timing. It's ferocious. It is a hard hit. Then we go from that to Owen Subcheck getting 2 games for slew footing at the start of the season in the preseason down in Swindon. Again, it wasn't a slew foot. The guy's 5 foot nothing. Like, he's going to battle. He's going to be below guys when he's battling with someone that's 6'2". Like, he's going to be below them, center of gravity wise. Like, it's fucking biology. Like,
I feel his pain.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Yeah, short guy problems. It is what it is. There's another one that I don't remember seeing. Damari James, he got 10 game suspension, checking from behind, player not aware of hitting, but in a vulnerable position. The hit was late after the puck being released. See, I haven't seen that one, so I can't comment. One I can comment in is Altrincham Aces. Evan Cole's the netminder. He got 2 games for fighting, and there was no fight. So I don't really know what that's about. The Lukey Smith one, 3 games. I think he's probably done all right to get 3 games out of that.
Yeah.
Darcy, piss take. There's a few, like, there's been a 4 game for headbutting. Now, are we saying that a headbutt is 6 games less than that? So, boys, if you don't want to hit anyone to the head and smoke them and give them the old conky anymore, just headbutt them. It's fine. Yeah. You'll get 4 games instead of 10. So
message, right? That's the message.
Stick the heat on someone.
That's the message that me as a GM is now going to have to tell my team. Boys, do you know what? If someone shoots a puck at the goalie after the whistle,
flying headbutts.
Don't drop your gloves with them. Just drop them a fucking headbutt across the fucking chin. You'll only get 4 games.
Like, it's weird. And without seeing a video, because I haven't released a video, this is it. We should be able to dissect these things. And I asked you the question, and I mean, I don't know if we're the best people to qualify to say this or not, but do they not release the videos so that it's less of this, less questioning?
Well, bear in mind as well, mate, that there is a thing within the league now, right? If you don't submit your video after every game, so you've got until Monday evening, I think it is off the top of my head. You've got until the Monday evening to submit the video. If you don't submit video, then it's not only just £100 fine anymore; it's also points deduction, right?
What?
You could get points deduction on this if you don't submit. If you don't submit the game footage, it's points deduction. Last year it was just £100. but now they're saying it's points reduction if you don't submit that video.
So this has to be done by a volunteer after being at the game on a Sunday. He has to then go home and fucking make sure the edits and shit are done. And he's not getting paid for this. Or she, sorry, he or she. They not getting paid for it. And then they've got to make sure it's in. Otherwise, his club that he's doing this to support gets fined £100.
For third tier ice hockey in the UK.
Yeah, like I mean, a little bit of leniency, you know. Don't get me wrong. If there's a major incident, like this has been classed as a major incident, that video should have to be in. Absolutely fine. But like the whole game and stuff like that could easily be like a Wednesday. Like they're not professionals. Like if you're Cardiff Devils, yeah, get that game's in instantly. The Elite League, DOPS have a war room.
Yeah.
And you can have 5 games going at once on all the screens. Incidents, freeze frame, replay, bang, 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 clip that. They've got it. That's a DOPS. That's a proper system.
Yeah. But bear in mind, right, my point about this whole thing, though, bud, is about the fact that why are they picking and choosing what things they upload?
Yeah, so this is what I'm saying.
They've got all of the footage. Every single team is submitting footage. So, but yet they're only putting in like 1 out of every 9 they're actually attaching video evidence to. Why? What are you that embarrassed about your decisions? Like, it's mental.
I mean, we're discussing it now. We won't be the only ones. I think actually other podcasts and stuff will go on and start talking about it after we have. So they've got the Charlie Thompson one, the Darcy Flanagan one, Jordan Fisher at Hull Seahawks, Luke Smittle, Bristol Pitbulls, the rescinded ban of Vlad's. What else have we got? Oh, okay. So we got the Damari James check from behind that I haven't seen yet. It just looks like a late hit. It is from behind, but it's not into the boards. He actually hits him, Morsey, on the. So how would you describe it? He stood by the bench, plays going that way. He's like back checking, and he's just run through. He's not running into the boards. So 10 games is very questionable. It's if you're comparing it to, let's say, the check from behind that got Gregor's 12 games.
Yeah.
There is no way that this one's only 2 worse than that. Not, do you know what I mean? That was 2 worse. Like it was easily 10 games worse than what the boy did there. You can give him a hit from behind penalty. Yeah, no problem with that. But
that's the gripe, mate. There's no consistency here. Like, you know, if you're stamping everything out and you're saying anything, whether it's primary or secondary contact to the head is like 10 games, fine. If you're saying everything hit from behind is 10, but you're setting a very dangerous precedent if that's what you're saying, like, because there's so many different degrees on these things. And if you're going to set up a proper department of player safety, then you need the right people to make the right judgments.
How important is like the software and stuff and that as well? Because we've saw from the bulk of the videos that get sent in, the quality's fucking shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's at your level, sometimes at national level. What's it going to be like in NIHL 2?
Yeah, exactly. And the thing here as well, mate, is that you're affecting, like, people have made decisions, right? So like Darcy Flanagan, for example, he's made a decision this year to come to the UK to play ice hockey, right? He could have gone to Sweden. He's played in Sweden the last few years. He's from Australia, so he normally goes Australia and Sweden, right? This year, he's made a decision to come and give ice hockey in the UK a go, right? He gets here, plays a couple of games, gets fucking sussy for a third of his season. Like, do you think he's going to go back and tell his friends, yeah, go to the UK and play? No.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It kills the sport.
It's negative impact on the actual league itself, because we know, and this is why I think Solway next year are going to be a juggernaut, because, hey, news travels fast at good places are good places to play, and news travels even faster that bad places are bad places to play. And if I get the 10 game for that, and then I go back and I'm playing summer skate, or I go over to Sweden and all that, and then it's, you know, a guy maybe playing a Veskin or the second league after that. So, hey, I got an opportunity. You play that in the UK. What do you think? He goes, fuck, don't do that.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, it kills it, man. Like, and not even thinking about all the time and effort that we as a club have put into bringing these players over, and like we're looking after them. We're trying to build as a club, right? Like, I spoke to you a few times now. The
Yeah.
amount of effort I'm putting in off the ice, getting in new sponsors. I've got a meeting with the Oxford Council coming up. Looking to hopefully, fingers crossed, put some pressure on to actually get some plexi in there and build some change rooms and stuff and do some real positive impacts for the club, for ice hockey in the UK.
Well, that game I came to, road trip in episode 1, was packed.
Yeah, like, we've tripled our crowds from last year. We're putting in a lot of effort in social media right now.
Yeah, you can tell it's your game's been up big time from the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, we're blessed that we've got great people involved in the club. And all this hard work that we're putting in. You know what? If stuff like this carries on over the next kind of 18 months, whatever, you get good people who walk away, because what's the point? You're fighting a losing battle. So you're going to lose the people that are trying to build the sport in the UK because you've got idiots making decisions.
Well, how many good referees have walked away over the last couple of years?
Exactly. Like, and I tell you what, good referees are hard to come by. So
They're very, very hard to come by.
try and
And
replace them.
trying to replace the good ones is very, very difficult. And something that, like, I don't know, just shit like this, I don't know. It kind of makes a mockery of them because they make the call. And at no point does Blaine think this is a 10-game ban.
No, like, and
No,
that's
like,
the thing, right?
but you're
Like,
putting that on him though, because it's his call. Like, so you're saying, hey, he thinks this is bad, and we're going to say 10 games. Blaine's
yeah.
probably like, what the fuck are you talking about 10 games? How's that 10 games? I didn't think it was.
When Blaine called this, he probably thought he was giving him like a 1 or 2 game.
Well, 5+ game at most. Maybe that was it.
Chuck him out of the game. That's probably what he thought, right? Then
How long's left in the game at this point?
This was first period.
Right, so that's plenty long for him to sit,
Yeah,
in my
yeah,
opinion.
yeah, exactly.
You could go right. Yeah, so he missed 45 minutes of hockey.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I would hope, right, that Blaine looks back at this and goes, do you know what? Yeah, I maybe made a bad call there, and learns from it or whatever, right? Or, I don't know what he's put in his match report for whatever reason, but it's been
Do you
blown
get
up.
access to the match report?
I've not seen it. No,
Could you request access to the match report or no?
I could. Whether they send it to us or not, I don't know.
No, it's just an interesting aspect because
yeah.
I'd want to see if it correlates to what they've put in the email to you guys from the solicitor, just to say, okay, well, this says X and that says X, great, perfect. Or are they interpreting what Blaine has written the wrong way? Or do you know what I mean? To try and to get to the actual bottom of it so that it is transparent.
Yeah, I think it's worth a shout. I'll ask. I mean, what was interesting with where we're at with the appeal process now is they come back and they say we consider this matter closed. Like, they're not taking any more conversation about it. That's it, done.
Yeah, that doesn't sit right with me.
No.
And I mean, the fact that the boys come from the other side of the fucking world and he's then got to be sick because he's come here for, it's not like he's got a sick job in the city and he's like, oh, by the way, dude, I've got my kit. Did you fancy an import? He's come here to play some hockey. These guys aren't getting paid. Like, they've I don't know what's the right word.
This is an experience for them, right?
Yeah, that's really it.
This is an experience, and that's how we speak to these guys when we're talking about them. We're not paying these guys millions of pounds. We're not bringing in top tier European imports. We're bringing in guys who have an opportunity to come in, experience a different part of the world, and play hockey and use that as a funnel for them to actually get here, is to come and play hockey. But
it's no different from us boys going to Oz. Like, those boys don't get paid when they go down to Oz, but they get a house or they'll get put up in a hotel.
That's what we've done.
Bits of transport.
We managed to get accommodation for them. Some absolutely fantastic e-bikes from Hurricane for them to rock around on. And jobs at a hotel. But you write off a third of their season to this bullshit. I mean, look, here's what the guy Mike Maiden says, right? So he says, good morning. Attached, please find the official appeal official appeal decision as determined by EIHA's independent discipline appeal chair, Barrister George Ellison. Having undergone thorough review and deliberation, we trust in the expertise and the judgment of the chair. Accordingly, we view this issue as conclusively resolved and consider the matter closed. That's not, to me, right?
What's his expertise, by the way? Have we figured that out yet? Because
no, I mean, I'll have a little look in the background, right? George Ellison, barrister.
does he sit on any other sport boards, or is he like an experienced athlete?
University senior lecturer of law at University of Derby, whatever it's called.
Derby.
Yeah, Derby.
So he's obviously a clever boy.
Yeah. I'm a senior lecturer in law and specialize in teaching public law, human rights, and crime. So he said, okay, right. So he says, I specialize in teaching public law, human rights, and crime. I specialize in constitutional law, civil liabilities, and human rights. I look at individual rights and how the state engaged in those rights. Students are given clients to understand the legality and engagement of the state in such areas. I just got no words. Like, he's got no
sporting background whatsoever.
No, not that I can see.
Yeah, it's a bizarre thing. It's also bizarre to want to be in these positions, like if you have no real tie to the sport.
Yeah. Well, it's probably a friend of a friend, isn't it? Oh yeah, let's get this guy involved.
Like, mate, I'd love to hear more about these people because we're guessing right now, and
we are. Yeah.
We're totally guessing. Whereas I think if you were to go down the ex-pro, ex-coach, whoever it may be route, there's no guessing.
Yeah.
People know these people.
Exactly.
And you can go and look at Natalie Aldridge's hockey DB and see that she played in X amount of world championships, or that she coached the Queen Bees to X amount of titles, or that she was the top scorer for her team, and she played Division III NCAA college, and she went to USA Prep School. And you can look at Greg Wood and say he went to the Elite League, he played in the EPL, he played in the National League, he's coached in the National League, he coached when it was NIHL 1 after he played when it was the split. Like, there's just
current players would have so much more respect for those people making those judgments as well, for what it's worth, right? Like, you know, I've maybe been a bit harsh, but I don't know who Mike Maidens is. Who's he to make a judgment on players? He's never played to a decent level. All he's doing is reading a rule that's written down, deciding whether that's tier 1 or tier 2, and just going, yeah, what do I feel like calling today? I'll give him a 10-game ban. Like,
what do we think about the fact that they've got the comments turned off on their posts? I find it. Let me just see. I'm pretty sure the Elite League do not turn their comments off on their posts. They kind of post what they post and then they own it, I believe. I could be wrong, but I mean,
anyone who's turning the comments off on these sort of things just shows that they are afraid of being called out for their inexperience and lack of knowledge.
Oh, well, no, here you go. So 29 comments on the Deirdre Henbrandt ban, 14 on the Braden Alderson ban, 27 on the Greg Prince ban, 8 on the Chris Inglis ban, Johnny Walker 18 on that. That's pretty much all the bans from this year that the Department of Player Safety and the Elite League have given out. So the Elite League have given out like 5 or 6 bans so far.
Yeah.
In comparison to the, I don't know, what was it, like 40? More than that. Yeah, like
more than that. Yeah, no, you're
right.
There's a
good chunk
10 from last weekend.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 28.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's a hell of a lot of difference. And yeah, I personally think when you do this and you do put something out into the public domain, like a video with your explanation, then the people should be able to comment on it. And guys, do comment on this. We want to know your opinions. Is it something that you would like to see? Maybe a bit more transparency, definite video for every single one. Let us know. Comment below, share this, get it out there. We want this to be a positive step, and this isn't a hate piece by any stretch of the imagination. Like, it's really not. This is hopefully for the greater good and the benefit of it, because if we can get some consistency and transparency this early on into the season on the back of this, then that'd be great. If not, I think we're going to be in for a very long season. This has only been 4 weeks. We got another 25 weeks of this yet.
Yeah. And that's the scary thing, right? No consistency. So yeah, they need to sort it out, and they need to sort it out now. As I said to you at the start, this isn't just about me bitching and moaning about the way Flanagan's being treated. This is actually a much wider issue here that needs to be looked at, and the EHA need to actually stand up and be accounted for, and either stand behind what they're doing here or actually admit that something's absolutely not right and change it.
Well, I would love the EIHA to kind of open some dialogue, whether it's with myself or whether it's with you directly, however they would like to do it, and see what they've got to say, because I'm not sure. Like, I imagine if they gave this guy, this is your committee and this is what you do and this is your panel and you report and go to the solicitor and this is his call's the final call. How much they're actually, like, the board are actually taking to do with it?
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, how involved are they? Are they then reporting back into the board on a weekly thing? Because if I employ you to do something, I don't need to blow smoke up your ass every week. You make your decisions, and you're probably not going to report in that frequently.
Mm.
So maybe the EIHA have a different point of view on it altogether.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, mate, is the honest answer, but they need to sort themselves out. There's something really, really wrong with how this is all being ran at the moment. And yeah, it needs to be looked at. It needs to be sorted.
Sorry, guys, I'm just like waxing my leg here. I put a hole in my leg doing box jumps last week, and I've got a plaster on it, like a proper one, but try to get it off so I can change it. Oh, but it's just a leg wax situation. That's a bitch. Yeah, don't jump shins first onto a wooden box during box jumps. I would definitely not advise it, especially at about 105 kilos. It doesn't feel very fucking clever. It really doesn't feel. I'm a little bit too heavy to be jumping shins first onto a wooden box these days. But Morsey, is there anything else that you want to discuss while I got you here, or should we call that a day?
I think let's call it a day, mate. We've chewed the fat on it. I think the only thing I would say, right, is it's quite clear something is wrong here. The fact that, I mean, people have access to everything that the decision has been made on here, right? The video and all the rest of it, which is what people should be deciding on. And everybody that I've spoke to, every comment that I've seen about this on social media and stuff, on your posts and all the rest of it.
Yeah, that went wild
I know.
On there.
Nobody can work out where this 10-game ban has come from, right? So if everybody else is saying, where's this come from? How is the Department of Player Safety making that decision? I would absolutely love and invite them to come on to your podcast, have a conversation about this, or if they want to speak to me directly, I'm more than happy to hear their views. But right now, like, they're just looking silly because they're not making proper judgments on these things. So EIHA, Department of Player Safety, if you're hearing this, jump
on. Will. Yeah, I mean, I've spoke to a couple of members at EIHA behind the scenes, and they wanted to get their feet under the table a little bit, but we are going to be hearing from some people within the EIHA. I know that Pucking Mad podcast had an interview with one of them, but obviously we want to get them on here and ask them some questions because, hey, I just was spent this weekend with the chairman of the Scottish Ice Hockey, John Colley. Now, he'd be the first to admit that he splits opinions and everything like that. But I sat and had breakfast with the man. He picked me up from the airport. We had conversations for 2-3 hours. He's a guy that's putting the sport in the right direction in Scotland. And the way he spoke about things, the way he understands, and just the way he talked and communicated, I think Scotland are in very good hands right now. And he's obviously had dealings with Ice Hockey UK in his role there and stuff like that. But like the way he come on and spoke, I mean, we're going to do an interview at some point, and I think it's going to be really good for people to listen to and understand, not only like with his Scottish ice hockey hat on, but his Aberdeen hat, the way they run the system up there, how obviously we talked about what the juniors get there and stuff like that. There's some smart things, but that all comes from communication. And I think when we eventually get John on here and people get to hear it, I think they're going to be very impressed. And this is what we want. But the EIHA are kind of they're behind the eight ball a bit. They need to pull their finger out. We're in this kind of world now where
and look, let's be honest.
this is what it
Like,
is.
this might sound like I'm calling them out and all the rest of it, but that's not the point of this podcast. The point of this podcast isn't to call them out. The point of this podcast is to find ways to make our sport better.
Yes.
And if I can feed into that, great. If they don't want to hear it, that's on them. But the sport is in a position right now where we could do things better, and we need to learn from some of these mistakes that are being made. That's what we're trying to get to.
Do you remember once Scott Conway left and was announced as signing Slovakia and not coming back from Belfast?
Mm-hmm.
He put the Instagram and tweet out saying about the referees and not being very good and even worse in Scotland and things like that. Right. And then a couple of players then came on and backed him up on that. And, Nat Halbert as well, before he left to go away, we had him on here. He spoke much in the same. Now, you can be a little bitch about it, or you can get around the table and go, why are our stars all feel like the standard of officiating isn't good enough? We're not talking four-flying fucking plugs complaining. We're talking the guy that was the Elite League Player of the Year twice in a row, top scorer, top point scorer, top goal scorer, champion, triple champion. We're not talking about plugs. So when they put statements out, you can deal with it one way. You can go, oh, you can't say that. Or you can go, right, why are they leaving? Why are they leaving the Elite League to go to Germany? Why are they leaving to go to Finland? Why are they leaving and talking about officiating? You've got to then be willing to go, right, we're going to invest in our officials. Yeah. This is the same sort of situation. If we have an IHL Department of Player Safety that is making wild decisions on a weekly basis, that's going to affect the game much the same as Conway's tweets, because guys are going to message Conway. He's going to play in Slovakia this year. They're going to say, oh, what's it like? He's going to go, oh, it's a good league, good players, fucking rest of shit. Yeah. That's what he's going to say. I'm not saying they are, but that's what he's going to say because that's his opinion. Whereas if he then looked back and found out that the Elite League had put on, refereeposiums every 2 months and they were flying guys in and paying decent referees to coach them and help them, and you could then go, okay, well, at least they're doing something. I'm going to give it another go. And if it's better, great. It grows the league even more. Mate, I'm all for change, and I'm all for change that benefits the game in the correct way. I don't want to see guys getting suspended when they don't have to be, but equally, I want to see suspensions be given out when they are well justified.
Exactly that, mate. Exactly that. Let's leave it at that.
Let's leave it at that. Ladies and gents, if you haven't already, please do hit that subscribe button. Make sure you share this video. Let us know in the comments section below your thoughts on everything we've talked about. This is obviously going to polarize opinions, but that's what these conversations are all about. We will see you again for another episode very, very soon. Don't forget to tune in to Road Tripping episode 4, Aberdeen, coming out later this week. Peace. Morsey, thank you.
Cheers, buddy.